So for part 3 of Acts of Love, I want to talk to you about be supportive. If we're talking about love and we're talking about people that we love and care about, one of the things we have to show our love is being supportive. When I think about just supporting someone, for example, I have talks with Shay, been doing it for like 5.5 years, almost 6 years come May. And I think about just some of the people that have supported me along this journey. It means a lot to me, because I'm kind of like, okay, when I think about loving somebody, it's not always that we agree with somebody, what they're doing or whatever. Just because you don't agree with what someone is doing doesn't mean you can't support them in a sense, okay? Let me clarify that. Depending on what they're doing, what they're needing support with, whether it's for example, I got a cousin, she's a realtor or whatever. So, sometimes I share her stuff on Facebook. Why? It's to show that I'm supporting her journey. My little nephew started doing like a little detailing business. You know what I did? Share this stuff on Facebook. Somebody's having, we got Bible quizzers. I try every year to go support them at least to one of their games or whatever you want to call it. Tournaments, I guess I should say. Whatever it might be, so when it's, especially when I think about when it's positive, we have to show people that we love and care for them by being supportive of the things that they're doing in a positive sense and the things that are pleasing to God. Let me add that, because I'm not going to support somebody if I know that God is not satisfied with what they're doing. So we want to make sure that we show love and support. I think of all the different ways that we can support people. Supporting people is being there for them. Supporting them is being like that little cheerleader in the corner, encouraging them and saying, you know what, you can do that. If you have a friend that's going through something, supportive is being that phone call, answering that phone call when they're calling, maybe in the middle of the night, they need somebody to talk to. Supporting them, being there for them. We can't be so wrapped up in our own lives that we forget to support other people that we love and care about. You never know, like what people need at that moment. I think about even like going through different, times of my life and, being divorced and stuff like that and feeling like I had to go through so much of that stuff by myself. I feel like I didn't have the support that I wish I could have had. Now, God walked me through it and he gets all the glory, but to say for the most part, it's like I had to go through it by myself. I didn't have somebody in the middle of the night to call when I'm crying out in my pillow, screaming at God, why, and things like that. It's the little things that we really need to pay attention to. If you know somebody is going through a rough time, make an effort. I was about to say even intentional, because we talked about being intentional last week. Be intentional with supporting them through that journey, because it's not always easy. And I think about a lot of us that have small circles, sometimes people with small circles are the ones that need the most support. Ooh, I kind of like that, because it is the truth, right? A lot of times we don't have somebody, being single people need that support. I got a friend, she's single mom. Sometimes her frustrations, she needs somebody to just be there to support. Can I babysit? Can I do this? Can I do that? Whatever it might be, it's those little things that when we say we love somebody, we have to show them that we're there for them and they're not by themselves. It's those little things sometimes that we take for granted from people. Go out of your way and be that support that someone needs right now in their lives. I think like if you even just ask God, like, God, who needs my support right now? It might just be for today, and God can use somebody else the next day. So my question to you would be, when was the last time you was that support system for someone else? That's a food for thought, because we're always wanting people to support us. But when was the last time you supported someone else? Amen? Amen. So I'll leave you with this. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 2. And it says, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. So before I go, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, check out my website at www.talkswithshay.org. You can subscribe to my videos on YouTube and find me on Facebook. Like my page, share my page, invite your friends to like my page. And until next time with Talks with Shay, Shay is out. Y'all stay blessed.